Hello, everybody. My name is Tom. Online, I go by the name of TDub111. Basically, what I'm doing now is a promotional series. I'm just trying to show some hand histories that I've had submitted to me, basically show them in video form, try to break them down a little bit, and just show some concepts that are kind of common in these days and how to beat the games these days. So basically, it's just some stuff that people may be lacking or maybe overlooking, how to pick up chips here and there, or how to basically win at a higher rate. So, I've had some hands given to me, and basically the biggest common leak or common question is, how do I win? How do I win more money, or how do I make more money? And, hopefully going over this series, which will probably be about 3 or 4 hands, I can point out a few things here and there where maybe it might awaken something in somebody and they can win something off of it. But basically, it's just a small series about trying to look for little things and trying to pick up on little things. So hopefully we have some fun with this, and let's get started. So this was a hand, Easy 935. He's a fairly good player. He submitted this hand and said, what do you think about my reads? What do you think about my line? His read on the villain, which is going to be WCT 17, was that he was a little bit of a spewy player, a little bit like post-flop aggression. So we're going to go with that. Basically, from now on, that's how we'll do it. Someone gives me a hand, I always want the reads that go with it because that's very important. Easy 935, he sent his image also is fairly clean, but fairly aggressive as well. So he hasn't gotten too out of line, but he's been very aggressive, as you can see down here by all the hands he's won. So we'll start it off. And this is actually a tournament on full tilt, but I'm using PokerStars skin. It's a multi-entry tournament too, so you might see some bigger stacks. Okay, so hold on, let's go back here. So basically, WCT raised under the gun. He's still fairly deep, and we're also deep enough. Basically, it's a good scenario to reset mining. It's not too big of a raise under the gun. You get decent implied odds. So we end up flopping middle set here, and a lot of the common plays today is just a check call, and which is good because in this kind of situation you really do check call a lot of hands on this board, and a lot of people don't give up like an ace high, like an ace 7 or something like that, or an ace 8, like a weak ace. They don't give up, king queen, queen jack. They basically don't give up overcards, so it's a lot of floats that you'll see. If you're an easy 935 shoes, if a random was in issues, you'd see that a lot of the time. So people just don't give up a lot, and basically, obviously like mid pairs and stuff like that, they won't give up. So this is the type of board where WCT, I'm assuming, is not going to expect a lot of folds because just a lot of things are going to come along. Basically, the only hands I don't expect ever to just come along is like 9-8 suited, or maybe 9. I mean, that's really it. Like 9-10 suited. Like maybe that's pretty much the only hands I don't expect to come along. So, if I were in WCT shoes, I'd probably bet like 9K and just double barrel somebody. But now there's a monkey wrench thrown into the situation, and basically Easy 935 takes a different route and decides to lead. Now, why the lead here I think is a very good play is you're representing a much narrower range than you would if you were to just check call. Like as I said, check calling the range here is a lot of hands, a lot of overcard hands, a lot of gut shots, or maybe second pair, top pair type hands. But when you lead here, you're basically representing a lot of weak hands. And when you lead to that size, just a little over 50% of the pot, you're kind of representing. It looks like you're throwing out like a feeler bet with like a 5 or a 4. I don't expect anyone to ever lead like 6-7 here. So you maybe could have like 5-6 or something. Try to play a pot that way. But with the reads that WCT is aggressive and lose post flop, this is a great lead because he's going to expect to raise and take it down on the turn or on the flop a lot of the times. Just because a lot of people will call here, will lead like let's say a 4 or 5, and call a raise, and then there's obviously going to be a lot of overcards in the turn, and they just give up. So, and also, if WCT has a pair like 8s or something like that, or 9s, I'm assuming he's going to just be raise calling and getting it in. So, even his ace highs and his semi bluffs, his king highs and stuff like that are probably going to raise too. So you're going to get a raise out of a lot of hands here. The hands I'd expect them to call with are kind of like marginal, but can get great hand, can be eventually be great, like like a ace-4 type hand or something. If he did have ace-4, if he had ace-3 or something like that, that's what I would expect him to be calling me with. Or, even pocket 6 and pocket 7s would raise. So like a lot of hands are going to be raising you here, just because it is such a board that the lead can't really represent much. You never lead here like 6-7 or 4-5. So it's a very good line to take. Especially against an aggressive player. If this guy, was passive, WCT was passive, I'd not take this line. I'd rather like check raise or check call. But since WCT's read is that he's aggressive, I really like this line. So what happens? WCT raises, just on demand pretty much. And a lot of people here make the mistake of shipping it in. And basically what I just said is WCT is going to have a lot of marginal hands in his range too. So he's going to have a bunch of ace highs, just trying to take it away from you and put pressure back on you. So shoving here basically takes all your value. And even if you shoved and he had, like, let's say, pocket 8s, it makes it very tough. Like, I'm assuming he's going to call, but it makes it tougher for him to call. And you want to just keep his entire range, and that kind of raise sizing, to me, looks fairly decent. He could have a bunch of hands, but, if he has, like, those ace highs, like ace 10, ace jack, ace queen, ace king, you want to keep those in because, 2 comes off and you can basically play it fairly easily. So you're not really scared about anything, and it just makes a lot of sense to try to keep in his entire bluff range. You don't want to just stick it in and have him only call off, just mid pairs and better. So basically, that's what happens. We get called. Now the ace turns. Now a lot of people here think that's a scare card. Oh my god, it's 4 to a straight. But really, there's no deuces in WCT's range. Like, honestly, it's 2-2 exactly. There's no deuces in his range. So this is actually a great card because I would expect WCT to bluff this card a lot. If he missed it. If he didn't, I would expect him to check it back a lot. But I would expect this card to be bet more times than not. But if someone were to check it back, I would assume the ace hit them. I would assume they hit a pair. So it goes check, check. River's a 3. We have a boat now. And I really like this lead. Just in case WCT does have a hand like 8s or 9s or something, who's just pot controlling the turn, I really do like this bet where basically, just a little bit around half pot, roughly. And it's also a bet that WCT doesn't really have any shove. He can't really shove, but at the same time, if you bet 20K, it looks kind of suspicious. So it is a bet that I think is going to get called a lot, too, if he does have middle pairs. And the fact that he did check the turn, I really do think he has an ace. But a lot of times, he could have like something like 9s or 10s that is just pot controlling. And at the same time, I would expect a bluff to bet the turn more often than a normal hand or a made hand that was on the flop. So, betting that amount there, I think is going to get called off by a lot. And he does time bank call, and he does ace queen. So it is a very good hand. Easy 9-3-5 played it very well against this guy. It's a very good hand. It's the type of board where a lot of people just check call, and when you mix up your game like this, it puts people in aggressive players in a very weird position. And this is how you pick up chips. This is how you make some more chips because really, you could potentially check raise one of these streets or something, and you might not get paid off. Someone might find a call because really, when you check raise one of these streets, if you check call the turn, then check raise or check call the flop, and then check call or check raise the turn, like really, what are you representing? A lot of people are going to find big folds especially on boards like this. So, I think Easy 935 played it very well. If anybody has any questions, comments, let me know. This will be the first episode. I'll probably do probably 3 or 4. And yeah, we'll go from there. So hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, keep sending hand histories. And if anybody else wants to go over everything, wants to try to get a hand history on here, send them to me. You can hit me on the blog, hit me at Pocket 5. So yeah, just let me know. All right, bye.